Let me ask you something. If rates drop tomorrow, would you actually buy a house or would you still hesitate? Because right now, buyers aren't priced out. They're frozen.
That's 100% true. I'm talking to people every day that can buy, and they're just not moving.
And it's not because they don't want to. It's because they're scared to make the wrong move.
That's exactly right. And if that's what we're getting in today, because the biggest thing affecting real estate right now isn't rates, isn't prices, it's hesitation. So grab your coffee or something stronger and let's unrake it.
Let's do it.
Raking.
All right. Welcome to Real Estate UnRaked, episode 31.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
I tell you what, we had a great 30th episode. That was awesome. We had Brian that came on from Bayway Mortgage. He gave us a lot of great education. It was fantastic. I was really happy about that. So if you haven't listened to it yet, listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
But not for nothing. It's time to bring back the old tradition, dad joke time. Dane?
All right, I'll go first as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got a new stick of deodorant today, and the instructions said, remove cap, push up bottom. I can barely walk, but when I fart, the room smells lovely.
What did he say?
Oh,
I like that one.
all right. Miss Bridget?
What's it called when you drink holy water mixed with laxatives?
What's that?
A religious movement.
Oh,
I think that's pretty good.
What's an astronaut's favorite key on the computer?
asterisk.
The space bar.
Yeah.
You got it.
What a wonderful dad joke thing. That's great. Why does everybody keep guessing my dad jokes? I need to get better at
Because
this.
they're not too far fetched where you can't guess it.
Yeah,
That was a good one. But no,
All
you're
right.
making it real for people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's jump into today's segment. What's buyers say versus what's really happening, okay? So we're going to break that down. And because we're here and we're saying the same things over and over and over again, all right? So we're hearing buyers say, I'm waiting for rates to drop, waiting for prices to come down. I'm just not sure I'm ready to buy right now. I mean, what's your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, my favorite is I'm just going to wait and see what happens.
Emotional damage.
But wait and see for what? Like there's so much that changes every single day in real estate that really, what are you waiting for?
Yeah,
right?
right.
I mean, the world
Agreed.
changes. It's affected by the world. And what are you waiting for?
Well, I know that, last week we were talking with Brian and I learned quite a bit. Since this affordability thing has always been a big thing for us,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been a big thing for the buyers, and that's been their pedestal or their soapbox they're able to stand on right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I just can't do it because of this. All the excuses, all this stuff. But you know what? He was talking about several different situations where he made it affordable.
Yeah. I think that episode, obviously there's lots of things to learn, but I loved hearing his stories. That was my favorite part.
Yeah, his stories
Because
were
like you
great.
said, it's bringing it back on how he's making it affordable for
Right.
people. And it's just worth a shot to try.
Right. I mean, having the right lender,
Yeah.
makes a
Right
big
lender.
difference.
The right agent,
Right.
you just got the right team.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
it works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Like it.
we hear all these excuses. We hear all these different things. Oh, I'm waiting because of this. Now, the whole thing with going on overseas. That's a big thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, gas prices have gone up, and that happens all the time during the war.
Right.
But that's just another excuse, right? Affordability. It's this and that.
Well, there's always something. You always have rates, prices, inventory. Something is always off.
But if it's going to affect you about $75 a month, and like for example, fuel prices, you don't need to be looking for a house anyway.
Right.
You really don't. But here's what's really happening. Okay, and to me, this is the truth. Buyers aren't waiting on the market; they're waiting to feel safe.
Yeah. And then that's where the problem comes in, that real estate has never felt safe in the moment, right? Like safe's not the word.
So buyers aren't priced out; they're frozen. Okay, so the overload of information that you see on social media, like TikTok and YouTube, and God forsake the news. I mean, do you guys know anything that everybody's talking about? I'm seeing like record, people that are actually starting to buy now.
Well,
Not records, but I'm seeing
Right.
increased percentages of people.
Well,
buying
the
right
last 2 weeks I've been so busy, which is a great thing. But I mean, it's gone crazy in the last 2 weeks. I mean, even
Yeah.
with the war going on right now, people are still out looking to list, looking to buy. They're moving right now.
Well, I think they're tired of the fear taking a hold and taking control of their daily lives.
Sure.
They want to start living again, and that
For sure.
is crucial. That is very crucial.
Right.
But some of the other things that it's like a deeper layer of all this is not only the overload of information, like we said, from social media, news, TikTok, whatever, is conflicting advice from friends and family.
Right.
What one friend is doing doesn't mean it has to dictate to you. If you're ready to go, go for it.
Every deal is different, and you can't compare. What happened to your friend or your family when they were buying a house or selling a house is not going to be how it exactly happens for you.
No, every situation is unique. Every situation is different. That's actually why I love this business, is because nothing's black and white. Everything is boom, 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 boom.
That's right.
That is very true. Nothing's black and white in here.
Dane, you dealt with 5 situations just this morning, and I had like 3 or 4.
Right.
That there's nothing black and white about this job, and I love that. And there's nothing more important for buyers and sellers is to have agents that have been through the throes of things.
Exactly.
The juggling act, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we know how to juggle it.
Right. And you got to.
The moving chainsaws and the fiery torches. Trust me, we can juggle 12 of them in a row. Not literally, but metaphorically.
Figuratively.
Yeah, figuratively.
That would be a good AI. Ask AI to show you
that would
juggling
be
12
cool,
things
wouldn't
of
it?
fire.
Yeah,
Put it
no
right here,
doubt.
right now.
But you also have this fear of regret and desire versus desire to win. That fear of regret is overshadowing things. And it's because I think people need to feel confident about what they're doing. What's the best way to feel confident about something? Is to learn about it.
You're right. To get educated.
Educated, have all the knowledge. Okay. Listen to the podcast. It'll educate you what's going on. And if you don't believe this and you say, no, that's not right, you guys are crazy just because your real estate agent is trying to get us to buy a house. No, we're not. As a matter of fact,
No. False.
I just had a buyer, and they're kind of friends of mine. Well, they are, because they're my kids' friends.
Right.
And they said that they're young. One of them's got his own business that he just started up. The other one's in the medical field. Didn't really want to be in the housing market, but they found something in life. They found it was affordable. They can meet their needs. They can start their generational wealth.
Exactly.
So they went and jumped on it. Guess what? We put 2 offers on a home. The second one, we pulled back because that fear of regret kicked in.
Yeah.
And she told me that she was in tears, and she doesn't, like I said, it's okay. You're going to go through those emotional situations. But let me tell you this, when we find the right one, it's not going to be the perfect one. It's going to be the right one for the right fit for right now in your lifestyle.
Correct.
Because your lifestyle is going to change in 3 to 5 years. So let's go and find the one that fits the needs and the wants that we want right now. And hopefully it checks off all the needs and some of the wants.
Right.
We found the one this weekend, and they said that we left. Both of them felt great about it. We put the offer in, and they drove where we were at because we were still looking at other houses.
Right.
Right.
And they said instead of going to their home, they drove to that house to be their new home just to see how it felt. And it was all about it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Great.
And just walking them through the process. That's why I like first-time home buyers.
Yeah, I enjoy working with them as well.
It really is. But just the overall feeling and the unknowns there, and having somebody like me at their side going over all this stuff.
Sure.
Is said, hey, it's a breath of fresh air. There's a lot of things that you've always talked about, because they used to come over to the house with the kids and stuff like that. They're like, we should have paid attention to you all the times that you were talking, because now we're in it, and it means more to what you had said than anything ever.
Right.
So they're telling my kids and they're telling the other friends to say, hey, when Eric's talking about something, he's just not trying to get us to buy a house. He's trying to educate us. So when we're ready, it's going to be a lot easier. Yeah. That's all it is.
It's all clicking in their brain.
I never force anybody to sell or buy anything.
No.
So,
but that's funny. It's like you're like the turtle from Kung Fu Panda, Master Oogway.
Master Oogway.
You're Master Oogway.
Time has come.
I guess I got to watch Kung Fu Panda.
You haven't seen Kung Fu Panda, Dane?
It's been so long.
Oh,
that's what Jack Ryan,
right? Yeah, he's the panda. He's the voice of the panda. And then maybe Cameron Diaz is the tiger.
Oh, no, it's been so long. My kids were young. They're old now.
I love that. That movie makes me laugh nonstop, and you're Master Oogway.
I don't know. You're talking about Kung Fu Panda and stuff like that, and I bring up, Fire Marshal Bill from In Living Color. She's
I do not know that.
Yeah, what's that?
I do not know that at all.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, Step Brothers.
Did we just become best friends? Yup.
Of course, that is like on repeat at my house.
I love
like,
that movie.
Matt won't let me not watch it.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Anything Will Ferrell.
But
at our house.
Ferrell's good, yes. So the cost of waiting, we're talking about this fear, the regret. I'm waiting for this, but there's actually a cost to that for these buyers right now, and even the sellers.
Yeah.
So talking about this, because nobody talks about this part, nobody wants to talk about it because there is a cost of doing nothing. For example, the market cycle is simply this: rates go down, buyer floods in, demand spikes, prices go up, and then also competition returns, negotiation power disappears. Right now, Dane, talk to me about the offer that you just put in for a customer just last night.
So you want me to go in full detail what we asked for and all that, or?
Well, you hit it right there on the head. You ask for things,
Right?
Concessions,
right? We asked for concessions. We brought the price down a little bit because we felt there was some adjustments or upgrades needed in the home that they would have to pay out of pocket for. So yeah, you ask and you negotiate. As a matter of fact, the listing agent called and said, "Do we have room to negotiate?" And I said, "Of course we do." So we're going to talk about it and see where we end up, and see if we can make both sides happy.
If you do that in a market when there's a bunch of other buyers out, do you think you're going to have that conversation?
Nope. No, you don't have as much leverage for sure.
No, the leverage goes away for the buyer.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the biggest things right now is sellers are upset because they want a certain amount for their house. So they're holding firm because they want that price.
Right.
All right. But it's a buyer's market. And the sellers are now starting to realize that. So I don't know how many of my sellers have said, "Hey, I want to sell the price for this, but I'll take less." And I said, "Well, then let's make a price adjustment so people come into the home." No, just I want them to bring me an offer. Well, how are they going to know that it's going to change?
Right.
Right now, they think this is what they want for it. I go, so we have to attract the buyers based on the prices that you can do, because how many times do you do a search on homes.com, Zillow, Redfin, or anything else, and you got that range, and you look up that search for $350 to, let's say, $450.
Right.
Okay, I know it's $100 swing, but this is just an example.
Yeah.
What if somebody's home is on the market for $452 or $349?
Well,
it's never going to hit that search.
Well, I got that situation now, where I'm 15,000 over 350 on one of my homes I got listed.
So the perfect buyer,
yeah,
that could be for your home is not even seeing it.
Sure, that's right.
And
that's very true.
We spend all the money on marketing. We do all these things, but it takes that simple thing. It could be even a penny. It could be off and it doesn't hit somebody's search.
Right.
So it's just the way we market it, but it's something to pay attention to. Sellers need to pay attention to that.
Absolutely.
Price it realistically, listen to our suggestions. Don't have to do it, but listen to it.
Right.
And then when we make the recommendation, trust me, we want to sell the home as fast as possible and for the most money. That's our job for you. And that's what we want to do. But at the same time, we want to be able to sell it and move to the next step, the next phase for you,
right,
next phase for the buyers, etc. So right now, the same buyers are waiting for that deal today, and there's some ones that are just going to get outbid tomorrow if they don't do it right.
Right.
Yeah.
So why would you not want to try to do something right now? So for like some examples of that, rent increases year over year. There's truth to that.
There's a lot.
I wonder how many people right now their rent went up at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, or when they renew, rent always goes up.
I would say 8 out of 10 times renters are definitely getting their rent increased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Because these landlords know that they could do this.
Yeah.
Because people aren't moving. They're seeing the trends in the market.
Yeah.
They're not moving because they're not ready. They think it's too high. To me, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
What if I told you that I can match your rent? Would you move?
Yep.
And during that time, if you do move, guess what? You're building equity.
Equity is like the golden word.
You guys are worried about 5.9% interest rate when you rent, it's 100% interest rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Why?
Yeah.
Are you afraid to be locked down on a home? Guess what? What if I told you you're not?
Right.
Right.
Do you think it hurts your credit when you don't pay your rent and you leave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure does. Just as much as it would be for a mortgage. But why would you leave something that you want?
Agreed.
So if you feel like you've got commitment issues, well, guess what? You definitely need to reevaluate that, because I'm sure it's not just because you don't want to buy a home because of commitment issues. I think there's a lot more in your life that you have commitment issues on.
That's a deeper.
That was deep.
Rooted,
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that was it. Wow.
But
but it's a realist. It needed to be said.
The other thing about the cost of waiting is higher purchase price later on. Yeah. Prices aren't going to continue to come down. And just look at the basic principle between supply and demand. When the supply is up a lot, the prices go down.
Right.
Case in point, clearance section at Wally World. All right.
Yeah.
But when the demand is high, there's little supply, the prices are going to be up on it.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you focus on that basic principle, right now there's not a whole lot of buyers out there, but there is. They're just quietly doing what they need to do,
Right.
and it's keeping us busy. And the reason why we feel like we're getting busy or slow is because we're in it every day.
That's correct.
Start looking at homes. If you feel like you can afford it and you don't know for sure, don't go and do the third party sites to give you what your mortgage is going to be, because it's not right.
No.
Contact somebody that's local and have that conversation. Better yet, give us a call. We'll guide you in the right situation.
Right.
We'll talk to you about what your options are. We'll get you involved with a lender or a couple lenders so you can decide if that's something that you want to do.
Right. And no, not all lenders are the same. They
No.
each have different programs that may better fit your needs
Yeah,
at that time.
absolutely. And then the other thing is, right now, again, we spoke about this before, is the leverage. And having that leverage, being able to negotiate, one's going to make it more affordable because we're paying concessions.
Right.
We have a map and data that shows us in certain areas throughout Northeast Florida of where we're going to get more of the concessions provided to us, and how the deals go down. We get to see that. So if you're over toward the coastline,
Yeah.
you're only seeing anywhere between 1.5% and 2% concessions being
Right.
paid on every offer. When you get more toward like Clay County and stuff like that, you're seeing almost upwards between 3 and 4%
Yes.
with concessions right now. And that concessions is money toward buyers' closing costs of prepaids. That is repairs. That is everything.
Rate buy down too.
Rate buy downs, all of that. This is the opportunity to get into a home affordably.
Yeah.
And you can do it.
You can do it!
And we can do it even though the rate is a little high. It's going to adjust. That whole phrase about marry the house, date the rate.
Yep.
There's a lot of truth to that.
A whole lot of truth. And right now is the time to move because you have leverage.
Leverage.
You leverage.
Leverage.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
The matter of leverage.
Yep. So you got that right now. And how long will it stay? Who knows? But right now you got some leverage.
Comes and
So
goes.
if we're worried about risk, if we're worried about, the fear of loss and everything else, or the fear of commitment, if you're not avoiding risk by waiting, if you're not avoiding risk by waiting, you're just choosing a different type of risk for later on.
Right.
Then that's just how it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get into fear versus facts, we are going to jump into our fun part. You ready? It's game time.
Game time.
Yay. So this segment and the game is called, are you ready?
Oh, here we go.
Risky or regretful,
All right.
aka
We can
gas station sushi decision.
Gas station sushi's back.
So I'm gonna present you guys with some real life buyer and seller decisions, okay?
Okay.
And Dane and Bridget, you guys got to decide if it's risky, which might work, but you're playing with fire, or this is 100% going to end badly.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Scenario number 1. Buyer is under contract, decides to open 3 new credit cards for points.
Regretful.
Stop that. No, don't. Regret.
They're going to regret that in so many ways.
I'm going to tell you right now, that's not travel rewards. That's a one-way trip to denied.
Yep. 100%.
All right, next one. Buyer say, I don't need to see the house. I saw it on Zillow.
Go see the house. Risky.
That's risky.
It is risky.
Go
Yeah,
see
it's
the
risky.
house. Unfortunately, a lot of those third-party sites don't know about the see and all that. So go
Pictures
see it for
do not
yourself.
do justice.
It is
And sometimes,
purposeful marketing.
a lot of times, there's some really good photographers out there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there is.
And now that AI is getting better and better,
That's true.
Oh,
go look at the house.
yeah. All right, next one. Seller lists their home, but refuses to clean, stage, or leave during showings.
Regretful for sure.
Regrets.
Yeah.
Get out of the house.
The buyers are running out of the house when they see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Nothing says dream home like the seller watching you from the couch.
Oh my goodness.
Regretful. Do not do that. Give people space.
Oh my goodness.
I tell you, I've got a couple of those right now that I'm dealing with, and I don't know why. Okay, next one. Moving on from that.
It would make me nervous that the seller is there. Even if I'm showing a buyer, I would be like, what are you? I would tell my buyer, give me a sec, go in there and be like, can you just stand outside and pretend, or go on a walk around the block? Take you
Right.
no more than 15 minutes. Just go. Get some steps.
I tell you, it's one thing if
It's terrifying.
you get done with the open house and the sellers show up after it is and it's extended and they show up. That's
Sure.
okay. That's happened to us all the time.
Right.
And they're respectful about it. They
absolutely.
understand.
Yeah.
But the ones that are like, okay, great. I'm going to start my open house now. Sounds good, man. Let me know. Let me know how it goes. I'm going to be right here. What?
Yeah.
No. You,
Yeah, no.
your wife, your dog, and your kids.
All of you out.
Go bye-bye.
Right.
We don't want a real life scenario, live-in situation. Come tour our lives. It's come tour the house.
Yeah, seriously.
No doubt.
All right. Next one here. I'll get down to this game here. Buyer waits 12 months for rates to drop. Rates drop slightly. Prices jump 30K.
Very regretful.
Yeah, I agree. I second
Painful
that.
too. Congrats.
Painful.
You saved $200 a month and spent $30,000 more to do it.
Yay.
Yay. All right. Buyer gets pre-approved, then quits their job because it was toxic.
I'm going to
Regret.
regret that as well.
Brian would have liked that one.
Brian would have loved that. If you're hearing this, but you didn't hear the episode, Brian, he has an exact story on what happens and what clause it starts. And I did
Yeah.
not know about that.
Do you know what Brian would say though?
Yeah, that's what he would say. You're right. He
You
would
hear
say
that,
that.
you
He'd be
go,
like,
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yep, but that loan is gone. Nothing
That is
kills a deal faster than personal growth at the wrong time.
exactly.
Oh, wow.
All right, buyer says, I don't want to overpay, so I'm going to lowball every offer. Like those, Dane?
I do not. Not even a little bit.
Boo.
What about you, Bridget? Do you think that they're going to get that deal?
Nope.
No.
No.
Not with that mindset.
Yep, that's not negotiating. That's speed running rejection.
Yep.
Exactly.
Seller says, I'm not dropping my price. I'll just wait. 6 months later, still on the market.
Regretful.
Yeah.
How truthful is that right now?
That happens.
Yep. That house didn't appreciate. It aged publicly.
Exactly.
It did. Okay, this is a Florida special one for us. I don't need to worry about insurance. I'll figure that out later.
No,
Oh, my
get
goodness.
the insurance.
That's a plan. That's a future panic attack.
Yep.
And if you don't do something about that, especially if you're getting a loan,
100%.
you got to have insurance binded
Yep.
before the loan is
It
approved.
is required.
Yes. So nothing's even worse than trying to sell a home during hurricane season, especially when you have that hurricane
Or there's
and
one
they,
out
they
there
shut
on
it
the coast.
down where it's
Yeah.
not binded no more and you got to wait, especially if you got a closing coming up. Nothing worse. But we'll deal with that when we deal with that. We didn't have to deal with that last year.
No, last year was a good year, wasn't it?
Yep. And my fingers and toes are crossed. We don't have to deal with it this year either.
I don't know. I don't know if we'll get lucky twice.
I don't know. We might.
Well, let's pray that we do.
It was cold over here last week.
It was chilly.
Yeah. All right. Buyer relies only on TikTok for real estate advice.
Oh my gosh. That is,
Regret.
yeah.
Yeah. TikTok didn't ruin your credit, but it's all about to ruin your timing.
Yep.
It is.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay. Last one. I'm just going to wait until everything makes sense.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Regretful.
That sentence doesn't make sense. The regret.
Why not?
When is it ever going to make sense?
When is it ever going to? Sense never makes sense.
That's just like gas station
It's
sushi.
objective.
waiting.
Sense is objective. It'll never make sense.
No, it's right. Nothing's ever going to make sense. But it
But it'll make sense for you in your situation.
could be. I mean, we could
That's
talk about the
regretful.
logical thing like Spock did in Star Trek.
Oh my goodness.
That's just not logical.
Well, that's why you need somebody educated to help
And
walk
even
you
he
through it.
Exactly.
He was proved wrong all the time. That it's not logical. But yeah.
We can get in a whole philosophical
Oh
thing
my
about
God, yeah.
sense and logic
We
right
can.
now.
But anyway, if you're going to wait till everything makes sense, that is just like waiting for gas station sushi to feel like a good idea.
Right.
Oh, you got it in there.
I did. I did. All right. Well, that is the game
Dun, dun.
this week. Hope you liked it.
Woohoo.
The fear versus facts.
Yes, the fear versus facts, the high impact and back and forth stuff that we're talking about. Bridget, what if you buy and prices drop?
Well, then you own a home and you ride it out like every other homeowner in history.
And let's be real. If you're buying right, short-term dips don't matter anyway.
That's true. All right, Dane.
Well, what if I overpay?
In this market, overpaying is rare. Missing opportunities is common.
Another fear.
Ooh, I like these fears.
People say, I'm just waiting for everything to make sense. We just talked about this. And
We did.
Yeah.
Nothing makes sense.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Real estate has never made perfect sense in the moment. It never does. There's always something that can tell you no, and there's a lot of things that can tell you yes. And you just have to decide that.
Yep.
You can refinance a rate. You can't renegotiate the purchase price later. Once you pay for it, it's paid for.
And TikTok don't ruin your credit, but it might ruin your timing, as you said earlier, for sure.
Oh, yeah. That's
the
absolutely
truth.
right.
Yeah.
What actually is moving buyers right now? The reality is that buyers don't move when the market changes. They move when something forces clarity. So some of the things that could trigger buyers to act, all right, would be if rent gets too high. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Family situation changes.
For
Yeah.
sure.
They lose multiple homes. Or they finally understand the numbers.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait a minute. That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
It does. Or, buyers, they're just like getting tired of sitting on the sidelines, watching everyone else move forward in their life.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Yeah. That's the one. Eventually, frustration beats fear.
Yeah.
This house is a prison!
Buyers definitely don't need more information. They need a decision. So here's an example. You know me and my
Yeah. You
examples.
like your example.
No, examples are good.
So we talk about this. I feel like we beat a dead horse with this. Knowledge is power. Education is fantastic. It'll help you make more of a better decision so you don't have any regret, remorse. I'm worried. I don't know if this is going to be the right
Right.
decision. You need to do what you feel is right. You get all the information, compile the information, and you're good to go. We talk about that all the time. It's like, I think we almost talk about that every podcast.
I think we do.
That's the main message.
Right. I mean, getting educated, make sure you're making an educated
Yeah.
decision. You're not guessing out there.
Right.
And that's what we're here for to
And
help.
that's where, like you said earlier, that's where people get their confidence. They'll start moving differently.
Yeah.
And then they'll act differently, ask the different questions. Like it'll just be a better experience.
The experience is everything.
It
And
is.
Brian said it right last week. He said he handles the black and white. He handles all this stuff.
Yep.
Us as real estate agents, for the most part, handle all the emotional part.
That's, yeah.
And we do.
True.
Because we have to fight through all that, metaphorically look at it, or, however you want to explain it. that
Pruning.
We fight
It's
through
true.
Pruning.
we fight through all the dust and the smoke
Right.
and everything else. And when you get down to the nitty gritty and, the heavens part and you got bright sunny skies and you see that, okay, I can't afford this house.
Right.
Who's the one that's going to be talking to them? The lenders, us, maybe mom and dad or something.
Mhm.
Right.
Mom and dad don't know your financial situation.
Nope.
Would you talk to mom and dad about you wanting to go buy a PS5 and you only make $500 a week? Yeah, I guarantee you're not going to tell them about that decision.
No.
No. But yet, when it comes to this, is it because it's just labeled as a big purchase? Let me ask you something. If you can afford it every month, if it costs you $200 more a month instead of renting, and you can afford to do it, would you do it?
I would do it.
I hope somebody
I would
would
do it.
comment here and says, yeah, actually, I would.
I would do that.
Because I will tell you right now, if I had to make the choice and I was tight with money, which I'm speaking from experience because I lived this way,
Yeah.
either rent or spend an extra couple $100s to buy and actually own something, that was an absolute no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
Was it scary as hell? Yes. But when I sat down and really thought about this, do you know what I did? And I'm telling my kids this. My wife and I have been talking about this. It was a couple months before I moved. And I said, well, let's find out if I actually can afford this.
Right.
So here I had the rent payment, right? And I had to spend $200 more a month. That's how I made the rent payment. But I took that $200, put it in my savings account. And I made myself live that way to see if I could handle it in the current situation that I was in.
And you figured out it worked out well for you.
I found out I still had the same amount of money. It worked out. And guess what? By the time I got done with that, I had about $1,000 that I used to buy something for the house after we closed.
Mhm.
Why not? Do that for a
Right.
year.
Yeah.
Do
Right.
that for 6 months. If you're afraid of what the consequences is going to be, if you're afraid of how everything's going to change, but you're comfortable with your current living situation, well, then you create a scenario that's going to do nothing but benefit you
Right.
Right.
by making this. Train yourself, put into action, do it right now before you actually go pull the trigger to move. Get an idea how much it's going to cost you a month. Talk to a lender, talk to us, and then put it into fruition. And then when you're ready to pull the trigger, you're going to find out that all this blah, 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 expensive, too much. You
Yeah.
can't afford this. It's seriously
It's
not true.
It's all noise.
It's all based around, like you said, Bridget, nothing makes sense. It all centered around what's going to fit for you.
Right.
So you would like to live in a townhome, or you would like to live in a condo surrounded by a bunch of people fighting parking spots, this and that. But in reality, you've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot with a 2-car garage in your own driveway waiting for you. No brainer.
And you get to pull in every day after work, and you get to see that that's yours.
Yeah.
What a rewarding feeling. Because once people understand their options, they move differently.
Confidence, changes everything.
It does. So if you're listening to this right now and you've been sitting on the sidelines,
Wondering if now is the right time.
Or waiting for something to feel right.
we want you to know this. The market isn't waiting for you to feel ready. It really isn't.
But that doesn't mean you should rush either.
It just means that you need a real plan.
You can do it!
If you're thinking about buying,
Call
or,
us.
or
Texas.
selling,
Yeah, call us, Texas.
call
DM us.
Everything. Even if you're not ready, because we're going to walk you through everything.
Yeah. Look
And
us up.
if you still have that doubt and regret and really need help with something, make sure you're following us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, because I promise you right now, I haven't done it because I've been tied up, but I promise to get these live videos out of our podcast out on YouTube.
All right.
I'm sorry.
That's all
I
right.
haven't done that.
But you know what? We drop real conversations like this every single week.
And there's no fluff, just what's actually happening out there.
And if nothing else, stop letting fear make that financial decision for you. I'm going to tell you before we go, there's some pretty cool things that are happening down here in Florida. So we've got the shuttle that's launching. It's not the shuttle no more. It's a rocket.
It's a rocket.
It's a big rocket.
Yeah. Artemis 2 is going back to the moon after 60 some years.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's a sight.
You said April 1st, right?
April 1st.
Yep.
Yep. So that is actually happening this weekend.
Yeah. And you know what? From where we live, we can actually see it.
We can.
As
Yes.
it takes off.
Yes.
We can.
excited.
If you want to feel it, though, you just got to drive about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And you can feel it. And you'll be able to hear it a little bit up here in Northeast Florida since it's leaving Titusville Community Space Center. But some exciting times right now.
Absolutely. Let me share something before we get off here. One of the coolest times I've ever had watching, and this was during the space shuttle time, I was able to drive on St. Augustine Beach, and it was like a 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning, and you could just see it go up. And I was
so
in awe.
cool.
It was really cool. Driving on the beach, just watching it timed it just right, and it was perfect.
I love it.
Excited.
Yeah.
You know, I did Worlds for softball when I was coaching my daughter's team, and we were down there last year in what they call Space Coast.
Right.
And all the big fields that they have over there. So we started our first game in the morning, and it was great. I was the first base coach, and we're in Space Coast, the World Series. I'm out on the field, and I look up, and there's a rocket going off.
Oh, that's
Cool.
cool.
And it was
That's
in the
real
morning.
cool.
It was really neat. It kind of went through the clouds and come back out, and the girls were all like, "Oh my god, it's a
Yeah,
rocket!
no
It's a
doubt.
rocket!" But
Great experience. Great living it here in
But I
Florida.
tell you what, that kind of stuff still makes you feel like a kid seeing
Yeah.
that. It's
Agreed.
amazing. But anyway,
Excited.
enough of that, guys. Have a great week. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.